What's up, your backup plan tribe? To another Friday, Walking with Tina, Celebrity Family Estate Feuds, and Estate Topics. Crazy how there's just never an end to all of these different types of celebrity family feuds that we can talk about. You won't believe what's coming up for the month of June and July because we've got some good ones. And of course, we have Whitney Houston this week. Oh my gosh, the story just seems to continually continue, and there's just no end. I can't believe it. But if you are new here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. My name is Tina again. I am with your Backup Plan app. I am the creator and developer of your Backup Plan. I'm a best-selling author of In the Blink of an Eye. Just like that, whoosh, your life changes in a quick second, in a quick minute, in a blink of your eye, however long that takes. Yeah, so remember, every moment is magic, and so make every magically moment count. I am an emergency preparedness coach also, so if you want to have some help with getting your estate plan organized for whatever might come your way, whether it's a car accident or a disability that's occurred, or a 5-minute evacuation notice, or not even a 5-minute evacuation notice, but a run out the door and grab your stuff kind of moment, in case of any hurricane or tornado or flood or earthquake. Exit plans, also, as well as just getting your stuff together in case you needed to claim anything on insurance after. It looks after your medical stuff so that you can remember as years pass what you took, what you didn't take, what surgeries you've had, what problems you had, and it keeps a log of all of that, as well as, tragedies such as hearing the cancer word and not knowing what to do after that and getting your stuff together. It's these moments that we actually put our stuff together. And we have an exciting new release coming out soon is our caregiving rest givers, as well as for themselves, because we can't forget about ourselves if we are the caregiver as well. Putting all of what do you need to put all their stuff together? What kinds of things do you need to have at your fingertips? Those kinds of things. So, when something unexpected hits you, you lose your mind. Your brain just disappears in a quick second. So I want to ensure that everybody has that time to be able to put their plans together, put their passwords and where things are, and lots of stuff is in the drawers and in the bookcase and in the garage and in the closet. Let's put it all together in a safe place in case of anything, any unpredictable circumstance takes you away from all of this quickly in the snap of your fingers. So that being said, let's get on with our party. I'm so excited to have you here, and we're going to have our quick commercial, and we'll be back in a quick second.
Wow. It's here. Finally, your backup plan app. To put your life in one place in preparation of any unpredictable circumstance. Grab it today over on iTunes and Google Play and get your backup plan started. Whether it's organizing your estate plan, your exit plan in a storm, your emergency plan in the blink of an eye moment. It is the best gift you can have at your fingertips for yourself and your loved ones.
Welcome back, your backup Plan Tribe. I'm so happy to have you. As of course, we have our podcasts that are delivered everywhere if you want to watch our YouTube channel, as well as any podcast. You can listen to it as you're driving in traffic or on a wonderful afternoon on Sunday. So let's get the party started. Whitney Houston, crazy story this is. Yes, as a description tells you above. She was born on August 9th, 1963 in New Jersey, and it just seemed like her story just propelled into this yuckiness of the estate being a mess right from day one all the way through till later years. It just progressively got worse. And I want to talk about what happens with celebrities, of course, but also what happens with us, the regular folk, so to speak, the non-celebrity person. We're in the same boat. And that's why I find this so intriguing to talk about celebrities and the issues that come up. Whitney Houston was one of the most celebrated singers of all time, faced several challenges with her estate, of course, after untimely death. And the issues surrounding her estate involved various parties and took several years to resolve. And I'm going to give you a summary, of course, without going into too much depth, because even then, the story takes forever. Whitney Houston, singer and actress, died on February 11th, 2012. Seems like yesterday. It's 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. And the official cause of her death, as determined by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, was accidental drowning. However, heart disease and cocaine use were listed as contributing factors. She was the daughter of gospel singer Cissy Houston and cousin Dionne Warwick. Growing up in a musical family, Houston's talent was evident from a young age. She began singing in her church choir at the age of 11 and later joined her mother's group, the Drinkard Singers. I never saw any documents on that, but I think in her document movie that's come out, there might be something a little bit more on that topic. Oh, and everybody, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe down here below so you don't forget that we have great stories coming up for you each and every week, as well as our YouTube shows live that come out each week as well. So happy to have you guys here, and I hope that you can like and smash that like button for your girl, okay? So Houston's mother recognized her daughter's talent at maintaining perfect pitch and helped her develop it by arranging singing lessons and encouraging her to participate in local talent shows. She also exposed her daughter to the works of Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, and Chaka Khan, and Houston's early influences helped shape her style and vocal technique, which would later become her signature sound. On the day of her death, Houston was found unresponsive in a bathtub in her hotel room at the Beverly Hills Hotel in Beverly Hills, California. Attempts were made to revive her, but unfortunately she was pronounced dead at the scene. The circumstances surrounding her death and the events leading up to it garnered significant media attention and, of course, public scrutiny. The toxicology report released by the coroner's office indicated that Houston had consumed cocaine before her death. The presence of additional substances, including marijuana, Xanax, and Flexerol, were also detected in her system at the time of her death. It was noted that the effects of chronic cocaine use and heart disease contributed to the events leading to her accidental drowning. Whitney Houston's untimely death was a tragic loss for the music industry and her fans worldwide, that's for sure. Her powerful voice and immense talent left a lasting legacy, and her death brought attention to the challenges and the consequences of substance abuse. Before Whitney unexpectedly drowned in a Beverly Hills hotel bathtub at the age of 48, rumors circulated that she was in such financial trouble that she was nearly broke. She reportedly died 20 How could that be possible for the singer who signed a $100 million record contract in 2001? And of course, 2001 doesn't even rank as her most successful year. In 1993, Whitney earned $33 million from the Bodyguard soundtrack and gave birth to her only one child, Bobby Christina. By the time of her divorce from Bobby Brown in 2007, the divorce paperwork revealed that she had only had $10 million worth of assets and more than $4 million in debt. Whitney Houston didn't sell enough records after 2001 to repay the advance on her $1 million contract, meaning that she owed back a substantial amount of money from that deal. That's also around the time that Whitney Houston began a bizarre legal fight against her stepmother, Barbara Houston. Barbara was the widow of Whitney's father, sued Whitney in 2008, claiming that Whitney had wrongly kept $1 million life insurance policy that Barbara felt that was intended to her benefit, even though Whitney was named the beneficiary. Wow, to even fight over life insurance. Barbara contended in the lawsuit that the life insurance money was meant to repay Whitney for a mortgage she held over her father's house, and Whitney was supposed to release the mortgage, and it was around $700,000, and turn the rest of the money over to Barbara. Barbara pointed to letters from accountants and attorneys who were involved in the mortgage transaction that confirmed this was her late husband's intent. And so did Whitney give in and release the mortgage and some of the money? No, just the opposite. She countersued, asking to foreclose on the mortgage, taking Barbara's house and keep all of the insurance money plus interest. Whitney also used the public lawsuit to point out how Barbara was 40 years younger than Whitney's father, met him as a maid cleaning his house, and how the couple got married before the ink even on the divorce judgment between Whitney's parents was even dry. Whitney Houston ultimately won that lawsuit after it went up to the Federal Court of Appeals, but before Whitney's lawyers could finish the eviction, Whitney died. If her father had made his intent clear in his estate planning documents, this ugly and expensive battle could have been avoided. He should have named either his estate or a trust as the beneficiary of the life insurance policy, and then spelled out in his will or a trust who was to keep the money and why. Given that lesson of how poor estate planning can cause complications, surely Whitney would have taken care of her own estate planning the proper way, right? Not exactly. Her will was signed in 1993, 1 month before her daughter was born. And she never even updated it throughout her marriage, divorce, or on the birth of Bobby Christina. And strangely, Whitney Houston didn't even set up a trust, which is standard protocol for most people with even a fracture of Whitney's wealth. Instead, her will stated that all of her assets would go to any children that she had, which of course turned out to be just Bobby Christina, payable in percentages as she reached certain ages. 10% at age 21, 1/6 at age 25, and the rest at age 30. Luckily for Bobby Christina, the spike in sales after Whitney's death led to enough money to pay off Whitney's $20 million in debt and created another $20 million in net worth for the estate. But this financial turnaround wasn't even all the roses and sunshine. Whitney's family was concerned that Bobby Christina wasn't mature enough to handle millions at age 21. Does anybody remember that controversy that was going around when she left everything to Bobby Christina and she was with that the family member that she had lived with? I'll be talking about that in a second. I just remember the mess it was. It was just everybody just thought that they had every idea under the sun. Isn't that always the way? Everybody has something better to say. But this financial turnaround wasn't roses and sunshine by far. Whitney's family was concerned that Bobby Christina wasn't mature enough, and they felt Whitney really intended for her to get the money later in life. Whitney's mother, Sissy, as well as others in the family, worried that Bobby Christina would fall prey to unsavory people trying to get to Whitney's money. In fact, because of the family concerns, it led to trouble at Whitney's funeral surrounding Bobby Brown. And later on, it caused the family to question the motives of Nick Gordon, who married Bobby Christina just as she turned 21, despite the fact that many concerned considered him to be like a brother to Bobby Christina. Because of their concerns, Sissy, along with Whitney's sister-in-law Pat Houston, started legal proceedings to reform Whitney's will so that Bobby Christina wouldn't inherit so much money at such a young age. But their efforts did not make it very far. Sissy and Pat had to drop the case because regardless of Whitney's actual intentions before she died, the language in the will controlled what would happen. So Bobby Christina gets her money as scheduled, and Sissy, Pat, and the rest of the Houston family members can't do anything about it. Although Pat did file for a restraining order against Nick Gordon at one point after a fight bled out at a family gathering. If Whitney's intention really was for Bobby Christina to receive the money when she became more mature, then Whitney fell victim to the same estate planning mistake as her father did. It's crucial for every adult with assets of any significance, not just millionaires, to use properly drafted and updated wills and trusts to make sure that their wishes are followed. Doing the right estate planning is truly an act of love for the next generation, whether you're a celebrity or not. After Houston's fatal drug overdose, rumors swirled of her having left behind enormous debt. The circumstances surrounding daughter Bobby Christina's own overdose only 3 years later led to attempted murder accusations, lawsuits, and family fights. Yes, that's for sure. It sure did. It just seemed to continue on and on and on. I remember it in the media back in 1993, and even probably a little bit before that, talking about Nick Gordon and allegations and controversy over that. Despite an autopsy that revealed the star's death as being the result of an accidental drowning, there has always been much speculation about the truth. Cocaine use and heart disease were listed as contributing factors, and the death of the 6-time Grammy winner and 26-time nominee was a shock for everyone conveying at Clive Davis's traditional pre-Grammy party. Houston's estate was thought to be enormous, as it included her music publishing, bank accounts, and movie revenue. Her will outlined her final wishes for her only child, Bobby Christina. The will that went through the probate court was actually a will from 1993, and she never updated the will after her divorce from Bobby Brown in 2007. And this is a big no-no. Don't do that. 3 years later, almost to the week, on January 31st, 2015, Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, then 21, was found unresponsive in a bathtub in the Roswell townhouse she inherited from her mother. Bobby Christina never regained consciousness to explain whatever happened to her. She died nearly 6 months later in 2015, age 22, and was buried next to her mother in a cemetery in New Jersey. Oh my God, see, that's what I mean. The story just went on and on and on. Who inherited Whitney Houston's estate then? Houston's estate was inherited by her only child, daughter Bobby Christina, whom she shared with ex-husband Bobby Brown. According to the U.S. Today, Houston drafted her will in 1993 after Bobby Christina's birth and made changes to it in April 2000, ensuring that her daughter inherited her whole estate. But that didn't work out quite what she was thinking it was going to, did it? After being rushed to a nearby hospital, Brown was put into a medically induced coma, and she died 6 months later in hospice care at the age of 22. You know, a will outlines an individual's wishes regarding the distribution of their assets, including financial accounts, real estate, and personal belongings. Without a will, the process of settling the estate becomes more complex and subject to the laws of intestacy, which dictate how assets are distributed in the absence of a will. Following Whitney Houston's death, her estate was placed under the administration of her executor, who is responsible for overseeing the estate settlement process. And then after Bobby Christina died, Houston's estate went to her mother, Sissy Houston, and her 2 brothers. While Sissy was named the executor of the singer's will, she later renounced that role, requesting that Whitney's sister-in-law and manager, Marion Pat Houston, become the sole executor administrator of the estate. In this case, the executor was Pat Houston, who is Whitney's sister-in-law and the wife of her brother, Gary Houston. As the executor, Pat Houston worked with attorneys and financial professionals to manage the estate and resolve its issues. Family disputes added further complications to the estate settlement process. Whitney Houston had only one child, Bobby Christina Brown, who tragically passed away just 3 years after her mom's death. There were disagreements between different family members regarding the distribution of assets and the handling of Bobby Christina's inheritance. Of course there is. These disputes caused delays and legal battles, prolonging the resolution of the estate. Prior to her death, Whitney Houston had set up a trust fund for her daughter, Bobby Christina, to receive her inheritance. However, the trust fund became a source of contention and legal disputes. The issues primarily revolved around the timing and conditions of Bobby Christina's access to the funds, and the legal battles surrounding the trust further complicated the estate settlement progress. Whitney Houston's estate also held valuable intellectual property rights, including the rights to her music catalog and her likeness. These assets generated ongoing revenue even after her death. Managing and monetizing these intellectual property rights required careful, I get my notes out, legal and financial considerations, adding complexity to the estate administration. That's for sure. Whitney Houston's estate faced significant financial challenges, including outstanding debts and ongoing expenses. Debts such as mortgages and taxes and legal fees needed to be settled using the estate's assets. The executor had to address these financial obligations while also ensuring that the estate had sufficient funds to cover ongoing expenses and provide for the beneficiaries. The resolution of Whitney Houston's estate took several years due to the complexity of the issues involved. It involved collaboration between the estate's executor, attorneys, accountants, and other professionals. Additionally, the disputes among family members added further delays to the settlement process. And after buying a 50% stake in Houston's estate in 2019, Primary Wave has been working to boost the income generated by the late singer's music through branding and entertainment deals. The group has also produced a biopic to be released next month through Sony Pictures, and attached Houston's name to perfume and cosmetic lines. Mastell is also working to create a Broadway show around Houston's work. The acquisition of two of her biggest hits is a big part of that project. As part of the last month's deal, Brookfield has taken a minority stake in Primary Wave, which owns the songwriting catalogs of musicians such as Stevie Nicks, James Brown, and Ray Charles. Wow, I don't even know what to say after that mess. It went from one to the next, and then what happened after. Crazy story. You guys, I can't say enough about getting a will in place, maybe looking at a trust if it's necessary or if it would be of any benefit. I have a lot of clients who use trusts, not so much that they have huge wealth, but in some cases it can help a situation where you might have a disabled child or a disability family. That's used primarily a lot in those cases, because then they can have income streams, they can have pull out money, they can have, according to the administration of the trust, and they can also use that trust like a business. So in a lot of cases, if you're on a disability income, you cannot have assets or income streams. And so the income stream from a trust is not the same. So it's looked upon differently. So in many cases, it's very important to not even have a will. But if you had any child with ADHD or autism, and you feel that the child may need to have ongoing sources of help and pensions or disability payments or a place to live and all of that kind of thing, then it's really important to have a trust set up. And it's advisable to have a trust and a will, a power of attorney, and a living will, which is sometimes called a medical directive, so that it can set up your family and leave such a beautiful gift to your loved ones after, when it's all set up for you. And it really leaves off your shoulders all the burdens and really leaves peace of mind for those left behind, and that it's going in the right hands and it's exactly how you want it to be dealt with. So I'm really excited to make sure you touch base with your lawyer. If you don't have one, check out the link down below in the description box. You can give me a quick email or a phone call, and I can put you in touch with some lawyers that would be of your benefit in your location. So I'm so happy to have all of this information put out in front of you so that you can look at your own situation and really think, I need to do this. I need to get this organized. I need to put my stuff together. And that's when your backup plan gets put into that position for you, so that you have this assistant, you have this guide that can help you put things together, put proper paperwork together so that it's like a grab and go bag. It can put important documents together, not knowing what you need or how you'll need it, but those kinds of things are so, so very important. So stay tuned for our next shows that come up with topics around estate planning and complications, as well as the next Celebrity Family Estate Feud will be after next week. I'm so excited to bring you this one this week. And stay safe and be kind. Till next week, I'll see you soon. Bye.